Hi, my name's Juliette Burton. I am over here at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival doing a show called When I Grow Up. When I Grow Up is a true life docu-comedy about me trying to be all the things that I wanted to be when I was a child. So last year, I genuinely tried to be a ballerina, a baker, a princess, a pop star, an artist, a farmer, and a Muppet. And that was to try to find out whether what we do is who we are and whether growing up means letting go of our dreams.
What inspired you to make such a personal, poignant show like that?
Well, I think I love comedy. I think comedy's an amazing tool that we can use to kind of, if we want to, we can just make people happy with it. But for me, I really wanted to use a universal question and use comedy as a way to access something maybe people might not immediately find palatable otherwise. And that's kind of what I want to do with all my future shows as well, the one that I'm researching and writing at the moment as well. To kind of, because comedy's such an amazing tool. If you have a whole room of people laughing together at something, then you can pretty much talk about anything. And I'd like to kind of raise awareness of things like mental health issues, or just raise awareness of poignant matters. And for me, I think being able to tell my story means that I can speak on a personal level to people and connect with an audience in a way that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to.
Have you had any tough gigs so far in Australia?
In Australia generally, I did some schools performances.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, kids can be quite brutal. It was great because when they did respond really well, then they were the most enthusiastic audience members altogether. So yeah, I think when you have a gig where maybe the audience is a little bit quiet, it might not be that they're not enjoying it. They might be really loving it, but in their own very quiet way. And you can't force the audience to react in a way that you want them to react. You have to kind of just take them on the journey that they want to be taken on. So yeah, it's the same story, but it can be told in very different ways.
Like, there's very specific Australian heckles that you've come across?
That's a good question. Yeah, in the UK, I don't know if it's because of the kind of shows that I do, but they're less stand up. Oh, hello, background performers. It's less stand up. It's more comic storytelling. So taking people on a journey that has got stand up elements to it, but it's not just set up punchline gag. Set up punchline gag. There's a story arc, and there's a message, but it's not preachy, I hope. So over in the UK, very much people won't heckle. They tended to just sit there and, go ahead, entertain us. Yeah. And over here, I have had maybe more people kind of get more involved. It's not so much heckling, it's more like bigger ahs and, oh, I know what that's like. And, actually just not sitting there thinking that, actually saying it in the middle of the show, which is quite cool.
Sort of getting involved.
Yeah, I think so. I think when the Australian audiences get involved, they really do get involved.
Do you have something in particular that inspires your creativity?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think having done this show, which is about whether what we do is who we are, like how much we invest in our identity and our careers. I think the word vocation I explored quite early on in that research, and people said it was something that you feel compelled to do, that you have to do despite yourself. You cannot help yourself but do it. If you're not doing it, then it feels wrong. And I think for me, I feel most at home when I'm writing, when I'm on stage. When I'm writing and when I'm on stage, when I'm communicating to an audience and I'm getting them laughing and making sure they're not feeling alone anymore.
This is also your debut solo show, isn't it? How are you feeling travelling around all by yourself?
Well, I'm not entirely all by myself. I'm very lucky that the composer who composed all the music for my show, Frankie Lowe, he's also composing my music for all my future shows as well. He's out here being my technician, which is a huge help. So I'm not completely alone. I'm also traveling around with the production company that brought me over here. So again, I do have people I can turn to. Plus, I've had amazing, like making a little fringe family of sort of festival family that I know from the Edinburgh Fringe. People like a boy with tape on his face, and Matt Ricardo is in Adelaide as well, and or the late night GIMP fight who are over here at Trades Hall. I know all of them anyway, and so every time we meet up in different places, it's like, my family that I haven't seen in all of like 6 months since the last Fringe festival, and we go for coffee and talk about how the show's going. So yeah, I think using that support network's really important.